To the index now, a freight train derailing in Sanders County, Montana. At least 25 boxcars falling off the tracks, many rolling down the bank of the river. Authorities say the train was not hauling hazardous materials. First responders insist there is no threat to the public. Fortunately, no one was hurt. The index now, a freight train derailing in Sanders County, Montana. At least 25 boxcars falling off the tracks, many rolling down the bank of the river. Authorities say the train was not hauling hazardous materials. First responders insist there is no threat to the public. Fortunately, no one was hurt. The index.
Joseph Citro has been a disaster for Tampa. A simple search shows he's not fit to be on our city council. From his arrest to IRS.
This is DAHBOO77. We have word now coming in that there has been another train derailment, this time in northwest Montana, and Chuck Costello reporting that an unknown substance is reportedly leaking into the Clark Fork River. This is 200 miles west of Bozeman. In the northwest of the state. That is a look here and an image of the situation. Apparently there are cleanup crews on the scene, arriving as I speak to this derailment. It's not on fire, and there doesn't seem to be word of any hazardous material, so to speak, that is leaking. We don't know what is leaking into the waterway. It's something they're saying. Don't know what it is, so at this point I can't say if it's hazardous or not until we get clarification on that. This is by Camp Bighorn near Paradise, Montana. Credit goes to Mr. Haugen out there that caught the image and the video. I will continue to report here on this as I get it. Make sure to follow me on Twitter. That's where you're going to get the latest breaking updates and information right there. You can also follow me on Instagram for more, and join me on the live streams Monday and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern on DAHBOO777 for more. You'll find links below. Much love.
Shalom, give all praise, Yahweh Shem Yoshua, Bashem Rakakadash, honors to all those apostles, men, and truth one down regarding truth and knowledge. And the Wadi Yahweh Shem Yoshua for putting the spirit of the elders and apostles, men, and truth one down regarding truth and knowledge. So we can know this truth and knowledge and call holy Yahweh Shem Yoshua, Bashem Rakakadash, give all praise, Yahweh Shem Yoshua, Bashem Rakakadash. Another train derailment. This is in Montana, northwest Montana, near Bozeman, 200 miles off of Bozeman in Montana. Some more reports here. If they're near the Clark Fork River. 25 train cars derailed in Montana, no injuries reported. There's one report talking about red substance going into the river, possibly like beer-like substance. It was one of these reports. Here we go. Hundreds of cases of beer spilled in Montana train derailment. That's CBS17.com. I'll get a few scriptures real quick. This is Proverbs. (24:2). For their heart study destruction, their lips talk of mischief. Their heart studies destruction. Mostly relates to the wicked, and their lips talk of mischief, relates to deceit. Shalakia for the music, if it's music in the background or some kind of music in the background. He that deviseth to do evil, deviseth goes to plan, shall be called mischievous. Mischievous to do harm, intent to do harm or injury or harm. So that's the wicked man. Go to Proverbs 4:16. 4:16. Proverbs 4:16, for they sleep not except they have done mischief. That's the wicked. They don't rest until they cause that mischief goes to doing harm, man. So they don't rest until they ultimately find a way to do harm. And their sleep is taken away unless they cause something to fall. So their intent is to do harm, They don't rest, and they're not satisfied or rest until they accomplish that goal or task. That relates to the wicked, man. Scripture talks about they make a diligent search, So they make a comprehensive and diligent search before they ultimately implement what they desire to do relating to their endeavors. Go to Job 5:20, They disappointed crafty so they can't perform their enterprise. Their enterprise goes to their agenda, man. That's Job 5:20. So they don't rest until they fulfill their endeavors relating to their desires of relating to their agenda, their purpose, man, their objective. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. So that's like a meal. Wickedness and violence is like a meal, a delicacy, or a meal to them, man, to the wicked, man. Let's go to Psalm 64. Start with number 2. You're seeing a lot of derailments, continuous derailments, various locations. Scripture talks about Ecclesiastes 5:15, be not ignorant of anything great or small, man. Ecclesiastes 5:15, Ecclesiasticus 5:15, or Sirach. So be not ignorant of anything great or small. 64 and let's go number 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. So hide me from the counsel of the wicked. They behind closed doors and dark and secret, they have counsel to do what? Relating to, for example, to do certain things, man. From the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Insurrection goes a violent uprising. Workers of iniquity relates to the wicked, man. Iniquity is sin. Who whet their tongues like a sword and bent their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. So their words, tongue, are like a weapon, man. That they may shoot in secret at the perfect, which is the perfect is the righteous. Suddenly do they shoot and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil manner. That encourage themselves is motivation. Encourages to motivate themselves in what evil matters. Evil goes to bad things, man. For example, mischievous, man. So that goes to that evil, man. So they are encouraged, they are motivated relating to evil matters. They commune in laying snares privily, which are traps. They say, who shall see them, man? So they're saying that they're saying, who's going to see me do what I do, man? Scripture talk about the Lord's eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, relating to the angels' eyes, which are the eyes and ears for the Lord DAHBOO77 to see upon the earth, man. They search our iniquities, which is sin. They accomplish a diligent search. That diligent is a comprehensive, thorough search, an investigation or inquiry to do what they do, to do and accomplish the information, to gather, collect, extract information, so they can ultimately implement their endeavors, man. Both their inward thoughts of every one of them and their heart is deep, which is their mind, man. So their inner thoughts related to the minds, the deepness of the minds, what they want to do as far as implementation, man, what they desire to do. But God shall shoot at them with arrows, suddenly shall they be wounded. So they that make their own tongues to fall upon themselves. So their own words, their tongues, what they say, what they speak, how they say it, directly, indirectly, is going to be ultimately it's going to be a snare, and a snare to them, which goes to stumbling, and it's going to reveal their true intent, man, whether they try not to or not. Let's read that again. So they that make their own tongues to fall upon themselves, that see them shall flee. So they're going to flee. You know what I mean? They're going to flee. That goes to be not ignorant of anything, great or small, man. So be not ignorant, great or small, relating to obvious matters, man. So when they make their tongues to fall upon themselves, they're revealing really their intent, man, whether they're trying to or not. They're revealing. The wicked is revealing themselves, man. Because thing called pre-predictive programming. They're pretty much telling you without telling you, but in your face. But they know most people are dumbed down and blinded as far as really understanding. That's why they guise it under different things such as entertainment, because they know the people are caught up into that. That goes to the sorcery, the spell, and the enchantments, man, to keep the people dumbed down and pretty much distracted or preoccupied, man. Anyway, this was just a few relating to that. We having major storms, knowing this, that in the last days perilous times shall come. Knowing this, in the last days perilous times shall come. Perilous goes to bad and evil times. For example, the perilous times. All these storms, a report was saying 11 million on alert, 50 tornadoes, 11 states. There's tornadoes happening in various locations, man. So, Scripture talks about the Lord is beginning to visit the world, the earth, which He has made. Part of that, He's visiting relating to the diversity of judgments, man. The Lord is known by the judgment He executes. Psalms 9 and 16. So He's known by the judgment that He do, man. And part of that judgment, He uses different tools. For example, weather. Different types of weather instruments such as tornadoes, snowstorms, floodings, fires, different things. The elements He uses, man. The different forms of elements to ultimately execute punishment, man. You know, so that's what you're seeing. You're seeing a lot of tornadoes all across the country, man. You know, so bad weather, wicked weather, man. That was just this report relating to that. So we in bad times, man. You know, a lot of things is going on, man. All across the country. Protest. Thing with Donald Trump relating to the arraignment on Tuesday. First president ever, former president, to possibly, you know, perhaps go to jail. You know what I mean? It's always a first, but so a lot of things is going on, man. So this is just a few scriptures relating to that. Another derailment, you know, you see a variety of derailments happening, you know. So various locations, different states. So you're seeing that paradigm or pattern. Let me say, let's get that word.
Paradigm.
A paradigm, a typical example of a pattern or something, a model. Model, pattern, example, pattern. So you seeing a model or pattern of things happening, man. Arrangement or a sequence regularly found in comparable objects, man. That sequence, man. So things. Same things that are going pretty much one after another, man. You know, architect example, prototype. Architect example of a class of a living organism. Astronomical objects or others. So prototypes, pretty much example of example. You know, so. Paradigm literally means to show or has been used, example or pattern. So you're seeing a pattern of these derailments, man. You're seeing a sequence or pattern or pretty much something that's being followed through relating to these derailments, man. Here we go. Sequence.
Sequence.
A particular order in which related events, movements, or things follow each other. For example, these continuous patterns or follow-ups of these the train derailments, man. You're seeing one after another, arranged in particular order, man. So you're seeing one here happen there, then the next one happen in the next place. So that's that sequence, that's that order, man. You know, so we're seeing that continuous of that, man. That's that order of that. So this was a few scriptures. I hope this helps in some way. I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bashim, Yoshai, Bashim, Rakakadash. This is Zaya Wolf. Hope it helps, Shalom.